Okay, so I'm here to assess my various speeches throughout the month. The first speech in this class was a quick speech in which I had to talk about something in my life. The speech I had prepared something ahead of time and had note cards ready to go because I wasn't sure whether I would remember everything I needed to say in the appropriate manner or the correct order. But then when it came time to do my speech, I went in without my cards, feeling I could do a better speech without needing the cards, but in the end I ended up needing them for the presentation. I didn't quite remember what I was going to say, and I ended up rushing through my speech without having the cards. Besides that, though, I felt I projected my voice well through the speech and looked through the audience without sticking to any one specific area the entire time. For the informative speech, I went with the founder of a record label I am fairly familiar with, so when it came time to do the actual presentation, I felt comfortable getting up in front of the class to do my presentation, but this time I was prepared with note cards for each slide so that if I blanked on what I was going to say, I would be prepared with the slide and the correct card. During the speech, I felt comfortable the entire time in front of the class and felt like I could keep good eye contact and didn't need to refer the note cards too much. During the research for this presentation, it was a little tougher than I expected, mainly because the record label website had been changed and the history and about sections were either removed or vastly simplified from what it used to be, so I had to go through and listen to various interviews to find the information that I needed to present for the class. Now, for the third speech, we had to do a Greek Pechakucha on a global topic or issue. For this, we decided to go with the zombie apocalypse because knowing we would have to do this in an entirely serious manner without turning our presentation into a joke. I knew this would be hard to do because as long as we were able to find good research and scientific information based on the topic, we would be able to do a well thought out presentation. For this presentation, while I was familiar with all the information and what we needed to say, I wasn't comfortable with it the way I was with the previous speeches, so I needed to use cue cards for the presentations, though I feel I relied a little too heavily on the cards and didn't keep as good eye contact as I could have as in the other presentations. At one point, we had turned down the lights to play a video, but then Troy had trouble turning the lights back on, so I went ahead, since the slide was going on anyways, whether the lights were on or not. I went ahead reading the card that I had switched to, but I didn't realize I had skipped the card in the presentation, and I started talking about the wrong slide, but caught myself out loud by accident, instead of to myself and continuing. But aside from that, I thought the overall presentation went well. Troy and I both moved around up front. We didn't stay in one particular place, and we motioned with our hands throughout the presentation, and we were able to focus on the audience without needing to refer to the screen too much. As far as the last speech, we had to do a pitch. I decided to pitch a band that I'm fairly familiar with, but knew was not a very famous band, so I felt they would be a good choice to pitch. I felt comfortable pitching them to the class, and because of my familiarity with the band, I felt I was able to write out a descriptive and well thought out pitch for the band that would catch their essence. This time, I was able to get everything together and felt comfortable giving the pitch without needing any note cards for reference, though I still kept them with me just in case. And sure enough, I got halfway through the pitch, and even though I knew exactly what I was going to say, I had to pause because I wasn't sure which part came next, so I had to momentarily refer to the note cards, but then I was able to push through the rest of the presentation without needing the cards, and with perfect timing for the pitch. Overall, I feel I've improved with my speech presentation not only through the lectures, but from seeing the other speeches that were presented as well. One thing I was happy to see in the class was the style of slide presentation that you presented. Coming from my architecture background, where less is more, I was already familiar with doing portfolio work in this manner and in looking for photos that not only have meaning and metaphor, but are of high quality and have a certain style to them, as if they're more than just a photo. So I thought this was something good to see for my presentations. I feel that this class was a great help overall with my presentations and will help me vastly down the road as well. Thank you.